Hello. Okay, well, fuck you. You
Sorry.
ruined my introduction, you little shit. Okay, this is a little bit of a special episode, you guys. This one is a story time. It's going to be featuring Domo, but he wasn't in the story. The story pertains to my life, and it was during a moment of high school times. And I just want to preface that high school times means I was a little shithead. I did not mature
You're a
yet.
shithead in high school times?
Oh, I was a fucking shithead, man. I was a complete shithead. I was a little
Damn,
troublemaker.
menace to society.
Oh, I was a fucking menace. I tell you, I was a menace. But since then, I've changed, and now I can reflect on those times, share my stories, and tell you, like, don't do this shit. Because, in this story, I didn't do anything wrong, per se. I mean, I did do one thing wrong, but that was just because, I was a delinquent teenager. It's kind of up for grabs who really was in the wrong there, and you'll understand that once this story is complete. If you hear someone in the background laughing, or, just enjoying the story, that's Domo. And you know Domo. You love him.
Hopefully I'm not too loud.
Oh, you're fine. You're beautiful, brother. You're beautiful.
I'm quite curious to see where this story goes.
Well, obviously, as you saw from the title, I found drugs in my teacher's desk. So a little bit of a spoiler alert there. That's exactly what I found. But what kind of drugs and what led up to this is what the story is about.
Hardest. Zoinks, like in a packable for two. Shit, dude, we got Shaggy in here too.
Hope you're enjoying the Halo gameplay I got going over this. Now for the story. So let me paint you a picture here. In high school, we had this one teacher that was very interesting. Well, to us anyway. For context, this teacher was notorious for calling students out and essentially making you feel stupid if you didn't understand a topic that he was teaching. Almost every time I was in this class, there was a very loud argument in the class. Whether it was me or someone else who he made feel stupid, this teacher would do nothing to de-escalate any situations, short of when someone would clap back with something smarter than what he would say, he would send you to the office. However, to be fair, he was a decent teacher. They just had a tendency to root out delinquents such as myself and my buddy in this case. Which, okay, picture is painted. Meat of the story is now cooked, so now we dine on the meat of this story. One day in class, my buddy had been called out by the teacher. He didn't answer the question. He couldn't answer the question, and an argument ensued. After yelling back and forth, my buddy ended the argument by pulling out his phone and ignoring the teacher because he didn't want to escalate the argument any further, and the teacher was just smarter than him. So, I guess the teacher didn't like this move because they just walked right up to them, grabbed the phone out of his hands, walked up to the front of the class holding it up, said, "This right here is banned from my classroom. And you," he said, pointing at my buddy, "can pick this up from me at the end of the day." And then he put the phone in his desk, while my buddy got up and left the class, angrily, of course, muttering something and turning around to call the teacher an asshole and flipping them off. The teacher just laughed and continued to teach the class. My buddy did not return to the class. About 10 minutes later, I asked to go to the washroom. A clever excuse to just go have a cigarette in a bowl, but while I was having a smoke and contemplating whether or not I should go back for the last 20 minutes of class, before lunch even started, because this class was just before lunch, my phoneless buddy walked up to me, asking, "Oh, hey, did they take your phone too?" I laughed and said, nah, I just wanted to smoke, man. And then he proceeded to go on a rant about how the teacher was an asshole and, stuff like that, shit like he's just talking shit about the teacher, didn't have to take his phone, crap like that. And then I decided he's got to calm down because he was screaming in the smoker section right now. He's just screaming his head off. I told him, we got to calm down right now. We took a short walk to Stoner's Alley to, it was called Stoner's Alley for a reason. So after a nice calming session and clouding our minds with delicious and helpful herbs, suddenly the lunch bell rang and people started piling outside, and my buddy stands up announcing, "I'm getting my phone back now." As he walks, he turns around and says, "You coming?" I joined him. After all, I needed to get my binder back from the class anyway. Once we got to the classroom, I walked in to check if anyone was in there. Then the classroom was empty. Great. So I told my buddy to come into the room, and I watched the door. While my buddy starts going through the desk, he called me over. He said, "Bro, you gotta see this." And he said that while laughing, like giggling. He's like surprised at what he's seeing over there. And I was like, okay, so I do have to see this. I walked over as well. And to our surprise, the title of the video already spoiled this, yeah, obviously, but right there, right next to my buddy's phone, a baggie of weed. The good green ganja.
Oh.
No, it doesn't end there. The good green ganja. And without further hesitation, he grabbed his phone and the baggie, shoved it in his pockets, while I began to open every other drawer in this teacher's desk. And to my greater surprise, the very next drawer I opened, I spotted a very obvious, decently large bag of shrooms. Naturally, I pocketed that shit as well and checked the rest of the drawers. After making sure the teacher's desk was completely drug-free, we ran out of that classroom and booked it to the smoker section to share this newly very juicy story, spilling that tea to everyone we knew at the smoker section. Needless to say, we knew the teacher couldn't do anything about his lost drugs or even the phone that we just stole back, because protocol at our school was very explicit that if any students are found in possession of drugs, or if any drugs at all are found on school property, they must be brought down to the office immediately and RCMP must be contacted. Not contained in desks and not waited until later to hand to the principal. He had no leg to stand on if he were to report the phone or the lost drugs. So over the next few weeks, that particular teacher was even a bigger asshole to us specifically. It was almost as if the drugs that were there were for their own personal use. But who knows? I don't know. We just found drugs in the teacher's desk. We didn't care about the extra call-outs after that. We didn't care about the extra homework. We loved going to that class after that because we caught him. We could give him a smug smile all day, and we knew that they couldn't do shit to take it away from us. We had the upper hand on that teacher. We felt pretty good in that class. The rest of the semester, we felt pretty damn good. Oh, and my buddy, he never got his phone taken away in that class again. And he was always on it. That is how I found drugs in my teacher's desk.
That's wild.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sucks for that teacher.
Sucks for him. Here's our theory about why it was there. Because we don't know why it was there. And he never said anything to us about it. We never confronted him about it. He was just angry at us for the rest of the semester. And we were just smugly looking at him we know what you had. We know what you had there. We can talk to the principal, bro. Don't even fucking bother. We were just fucking, I don't know. We were just, we felt pretty proud in that class. We felt like we didn't have to do shit in that class anymore, and he can't do anything to us. But he did still call us out and make us look stupid and stuff. But we were we can shut him down with kind of a smug smile. We just sit back down, don't respond anymore. And then he moves on to a different student. But, yeah, no, what we think, our theory was that he had probably, because we found his phone and the, small baggie of weed in, that top drawer that's right under, where you roll your chair in. It was in that one where we found the baggie of weed and the phone. So we assumed that, that's probably just what he took from students, and he was probably going to bring that weed to the office. If not, he was probably just going to take that home and add it to his own stash, maybe, if he had his own. But the fact is that
it was in his desk, meaning he probably was taking it for his own good.
Probably, yeah, exactly. But the fact that we found an even bigger bag of shrooms in his bottom left drawer.
They ain't small.
It wasn't a small bag. It was maybe about 10 grams. It wasn't that big, but it wasn't that small. It wasn't fucking felony worth, but it was a misdemeanor. But it was enough, And that felt like it was actually his own stash, because we had already contemplated beforehand, because he's a weird teacher. He was a very weird, eccentric teacher.
Wonder if he microdosed.
Yeah, we were thinking that he was a bit of a microdoser. He probably microdosed at school. And we were thinking that we took his shroom stash that he fucking microdose. He was gonna
He
microdose
saw
over.
you guys as like aliens and stuff, and that's why he locked it up. Dude.
That's why he's calling us out, just trying to figure out if we're smarter than him. Like, I'm teaching a class of aliens right now. I must make sure they're not smarter than me.
Who knows what he was seeing, honestly.
Honestly, well, no, microdosing. I mean, I do shrooms. Like microdosing, it's not like it. You don't really see shit. Microdosing just gives you the euphoria of taking shrooms without like the hallucinations. So you don't like it. It doesn't impede your like ability to do things, but it does. But it makes you feel better. Like in a way, it gives you euphoria. Euphoria is usually generally a good feeling thing.
Zoinks.
Has Shaggy not done shrooms? I feel like Shaggy has done shrooms.
There might be a great story behind that. Oh, see, I never had any of that, but I was told it was gonna take like an hour to kick in and all this other crazy stuff, and then like, I swear it felt like 5 seconds, and I was like, we're sitting at a table, and I watched this table become super long, and my backyard's weeds, like, because it was overgrown grass, like turned into a giant forest, and I was like staring at my buddy who's across the table, and I'm like, how far do you think you are to me? And he's all, bro, I'm across the table. I'm like, nah. You're like way over there. And I got freaked out by the jungle that was next to me, and I had to go inside, and my buddy was tripping that I was already like gone in my own world. And then I got eaten by a couch. Slowly, I watched my buddy look out from where my computer was, and he just like would laugh at me more and more before I realized like the couch was like swallowing me.
Like physically.
Yeah, like I somehow was under the cushions, like all the way down to my neck at one point.
Somehow I can picture this.
About that time, my buddy saw a giant whirlpool in the ground and was trying not to get sucked into the floor. So yeah, there's a lot more to that night. It was fun.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this story time, everybody. Now,
Zoinks.
and I hope you also enjoyed that extra little story from Domo. We had a little preview into a story from Domo there. That's nice. That's nice. But either way, leave a like if you enjoyed this video. If you thought the story was interesting, leave a like. If you have any questions, don't ask them in the comments. I'm probably not going to answer them. I'm kidding. I'll probably answer them. But, you know, if there's any for legal reasons, I might not answer them. But either way, I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. I will catch you in the next video. Maybe the next story time is happening soon. I don't know when. It's really hard to figure out which stories I can tell and which stories I can't tell. Because, you know, it's really hard to fucking filter that shit.